I can tell you lots about it.
Take a straw poll at the end. You said that in year one you're already planning to make a small profit, which is fine and it's probably sensible planning. Can you just give us a few more details on that? For example, what's your turnover predicted to be in year one?
I think the turnover is going to be about 42,000.
42,000. What sort of gross profit margin do you get in a vegetarian cafe as opposed to a meat?
Well, you're actually going to get more, because if next time you go for a meal soup, you look on the menu and your plant-based meal is going to cost you exactly the same as a meat-based meal. And we all know that vegetables are a lot cheaper than meat.
Okay, so what's the profit margin?
So we're looking at about 50 to 60% profit margin.
Gross profit or net profit?
Gross profit.
Okay, and what sort of net profit are you going to make?
First year I anticipate making about 4% net profit.
Right, okay. What about later? So that's about...
it's about 15 to 2 grand, yeah. 1,500 to 2 grand. I think it works out at 1668.
Right. And what about when you sort of up and running and fantastically successful and Jamie Oliver's eating his heart out? What sort of turnover do you have now?
I'm looking to increase turnover in proportion to the number of people who are coming into the centre, which is obviously going to increase. I'm looking in year 2 to deliver around 20-25% net profit.
From the same sort of turnover?
No, from a much higher turnover, because we're going to double our numbers of people coming into the centre.
Okay, so just to sort of make things simple for me, how much do you expect an ordinary sort of punter to spend?
The first year's costings I've worked out on £2 a head, £2 a spend. We've done quite a lot of research into this. We're not going into this blind, because we're asking for grants to fund this. We don't want to be throwing people's money away. In local cafes and other community cafes that we've visited as part of our market research, the average spend is £2 to £3.
Okay, so sort of a couple of quid a head is about 20,000 people through your doors in year one?
Yeah.
And that's from how many therapists are you going to have in the centre?
Up to 228 different ones a week. That's how many sessions we have available.
Okay.
Obviously, we're not expecting 100% occupancy in our first year.
Right, okay. Just tell me a little bit more about the lifestyle centre. You say it's cost just over £1 million to do. Why are you asking us at this late stage for help in developing the community cafe? Surely you're asking us for £15,000 out of 1.15 billion. It's nothing, I suppose, that was supposed to do this development money in the first place.
Before my time, I'm afraid, so I can tell you what I know. I've only been on board since July. The funding that has been got for the project, which is from the European Regional Development Fund, Yorkshire Forward, is just to bring the building up to standard, to refurbish the building. They wouldn't finance any of the costs for setting up a cafe. They won't finance any furniture for the therapy rooms and the treatment couches. That has to be dealt with separately. But as part, from 1.15 million, the money that we have to get is only really a small amount of money. But it is vital to the project.
All right, and then Baton itself has been developing something like £3 million worth of assets around that. And is Baton itself making a profit from the turnover?
Yes.
So what sort of profit are you generating?
I don't know that. I'm only really involved in the lifestyle project.
Okay.
But some of the other projects they have are, we have them industrial units that are rent out as startup units, and they're generating a profit now.
Okay, great. We'll hand you over to...
Thank you.
Steph?
Yes.
I'm confused.
Please don't be.
Ex-mining village.
Yep.
How many people live in this ex-mining village?
About 20,000.
So you've got 20,000.
Yep.
Half of them are ex-miners, probably.
Yep.
8,000 of them ex-miners. You're expecting to get 75 punters through the door every day.
Yeah.
Vegan and vegetarian. I don't know many vegan and vegetarian ex-miners. Are you expecting, is this more of a lifestyle thing? Is this more of a thing to promote vegetarian and vegan living than actually meeting the community needs?
Steve, you know about marketing. I'm marketing it as a vegetarian cafe to vegetarians and vegans. The ex-miners, I've had a lot of criticism from the ex-miners, believe me, they are so supportive and so helpful. It's a healthy eating community cafe to them. It's something for their community as well. It's not just going to be about eating lettuce leaves. It's about a whole offer. The coffee that we're going to sell is the most outstanding cup of coffee you'll get in Sheffield. And the miners drink
I'm sure it'll blow the
fantastic
socks
coffee.
off or the clogs off. I'm not kind of with it really, because in one breath you say we're there for the community, and then in the next breath you say they're coming from over 9 miles away, or can come from over 9 miles away. Well, I'm sure they will come
Part
from
of
over 9 miles.
economic regeneration, Steve, is not you can recirculate your own money forever and a day, but to actually lift yourselves up out of it, you need more money coming in, right? And therapists will be bringing other people in the ends. Bringing more money into the community improves that regeneration. It gets that spiral going upwards instead of downwards, and that's what I'm about.
Okay.
And if you don't know it until you've tried it,
I thought you were going to say something else.
and if you never tried vegetarian food, you can't really knock it, can you? You're dying to get in there.
Steph, just a couple of questions for me.
Yes.
Who's going to do the cooking?
I'm going to employ a healthy eating development worker who will do the cooking initially whilst training volunteers. I've got volunteers queuing up because the investment we're putting into our volunteers, who are the community. They're the people who want this for their community. They're going to do some of the cooking and serving.
Have you identified the cook yet?
Not the person, no. Would you want to apply?
I'm not sure how good I do with cooking. The second question for me is, what are your planned opening hours?
But from 8 AM in the morning, initially till 5 PM, although there will be a reduced offer for people who are using the centre in the evenings, until we build it up till I've got the number of volunteers trained. By month 5, we will be open from 8 AM till 10 PM, which is the opening hours of the centre, because the people who come in the evening have got just as much right to a full service as the people who come in the day.
And is that 5 days a week or 7 days?
7 days a week.
It does occur to me that those stats about people travelling through town probably relate to evening and weekend eating habits rather than daily use. Just finally then, you said you've been to look at other community cafes.
Yep.
Would you like to tell me one that you've sort of clearly benchmarked against, you've seen the figures and provide a model for what you're proposing to do?
Yes, we did a study visit. Myself and some of the trustees went to Gillingham in Kent to the Sunlight Development Trust. They have a huge centre. They have a doctor's surgery, you know, something like. Okay, we've been to the Living Room Cafe down there. We also were really fortunate that they put on a course for us in how to run a community cafe, which really highlighted the pitfalls. We did a fabulous exercise on how much profit are you going to make out of a cup of coffee. We see them as a success. They've been going for, I believe, 5 years, and they're still growing. They're developing their business, and so they've become a really integrated part of that community.
I'd just say their business model relies on major catering and external sales rather than passive trade.
Yeah. But when we were there, the cafe was full.
Yeah, it makes a contribution.